Mom and Dad. I will never actually tell you how much I fucking love sex. There, I said it. It makes me feel like a woman. I feel responsible. I feel pleasure. I feel true love, but I also feel true love with myself. I often hate who I am, but I am learning to love myself. Mom and Dad, I will never tell you how much I fucking love sex. Love always. Me.
I will never tell my parents how much I love Mark Andrews. He is my soulmate, my breath. I know I was with him in previous lives. I only tell my friends because my dad and stepmom are super Christian, so I don't really know how that would work out. I don't think they've ever been around two gay people in a relationship before. I have a really big family with really big personalities, but I love Mark Andrews.
I remembered his smell for about 6 months after. I would smell him in the air or on the back of my hand. I can still hear his laugh sometimes.
Now that I've worn out the road, I'm on my knees in fascination, looking through the night, and the moon's never seen me before, but I'm reflecting light. I rode the pain down, got off and looked up, looked into your eyes, the lost open windows all around, my dark heart lit up the sky.
I saw him in my dreams for many years after he died. He was born on Christmas and died on Easter 19 years later. His little brothers had found him that morning, hanging in the basement that he had made into his bedroom. I would always ask him in my dreams if he forgave me for not being there for him when he needed me. For years he never answered, and then one night I dreamt of him and he did answer. We were on a train. He was wearing a red sweater I had given him. I asked, "Do you forgive me?" He smiled and said, "Do you forgive me?" And we hugged, and I never dreamt of him again. I often wish I could remember his smell again.
Last year, I brought my boyfriend Mark home for Thanksgiving dinner. He is super attractive and extremely charismatic, on top of having an amazing personality. I was a little nervous, but still really excited for my family to meet him. I could smell the fresh-baked pumpkin pie as we entered. I saw a glint in my grandmother's eye as she spotted Mark. She ran over to us and gave us both big hugs and introduced herself. My grandpa was excited to hear that Mark was a political science major. They talked about current events while me and my grandma played video games. Then we all sat around the dining room table. There was a cornucopia for the centerpiece. I watched Mark help my grandpa carve the turkey. I've never helped my grandpa carve the turkey before. Go figure. A wink from my grandma sealed the deal, and I knew that Mark was in like Flynn.
I just want to start by saying, I don't
remember a whole lot about that night, Adam. I prefer not to.
I don't like remembering this, Adam, but for you I will.
When I was 4, my dad was driving me and my sister Chelsea home. She was only 2.
I believe your mom was working.
Second shift at Boeing's.
Chelsea is in a car seat in the back and I'm next to my dad. So as we're driving, the car behind us is getting really close.
The car is flying up my ass.
The person driving the car is flashing their lights and yelling out the window.
The driver decided he wanted to pass me in the turn lane, honking and flipping me off. Smart ass I am, decided I'd flip him off back.
My dad pulled over into the parking lot of an apartment complex.
The apartment's right before ours.
So they wouldn't know where to come back and find him, or the car, is the only reason I can think of to this day.
I noticed 2 of the guys in the car walking towards us.
I remember Dad looked at me before he got out of the car. He looked scared.
I asked them what their problem was. They got on both sides of me, so I decided to get back in the car and forget it. By this time, the person driving the car pulled up and hit my bumper. I got out again, so did he.
At some point during the argument, one of the guys went back to the car while the driver continues to fight with my dad.
I decided to get back in the car, say fuck the whole thing. But then one of them came out and started kicking my door. So I opened the door into him, grabbed him by the headlock, and started bashing his face in. At the same time, he bit me in the nipple and he wouldn't let go. So I shoved my fingers in his eyes. Well, then he let go. Out the corner of my eye, I could see another one of them coming around the car with something.
The passenger had grabbed 2 metal baseball bats.
Then they bashed into the side of my head.
I sat in the car watching my father get beaten near death in front of my eyes. I don't know how long he was lying there, or how long my sister and I waited in the car. What I do know is that the sun was out when this happened, and it was night by the time the cops had found us.
Someone finally pulled up. I'm lucky for whoever it was.
My supervisor and the Boeing security officer came and got me, and told me that the Everett police had my kids.
Next thing I know, I wake up in a hospital asking where my children are.
I get out to the Boeing security gate, and there you are and your sister in a cop car.
I remember going home.
I prefer not to remember this event.
I found out later that these guys were drug dealers that my dad owed money to.
No, they weren't.
Grandma said they were.
Yes, they were drug dealers. No, I didn't owe them money.
Mom said one of the reasons you guys divorced was because you were addicted to cocaine.
It was.
Oh,
Sorry I did such a stupid thing with you kids around.
I know.
I love you.
I love you too.
That's about all I remember. This was a long time ago. I'm not sure what you or your sister remember, but I think you remember more than any of us really know.
Really?
Anyways, love and miss you, kiddo.
Love you too.